Hey, Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Hakodash, the ones that apostles of great millstone, and Shalom to your brothers in the highways and byways, doing the works sincerely and faithfully, and continue fighting the good fight of faith, Lord willing, we are finding that number to be delivered, until likewise you sisters who truly trust and believe in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, may you be found worthy as well. All right, so this lesson is going to be based off the first death, which a lot of Israelites don't take into consideration, of what the first death was all about. All right. And it's telling, because when you read the scriptures and you read the time period and you read the things that were going on, and understanding that when the Lord brought the judgment upon the earth, he brought that judgment because of wickedness. Okay. So let's go to Genesis, the 5th chapter. And I'm just going to jump around a little bit. And I want to try to get the timeline down for the time that Noah was doing what he was doing. Okay. And if you really think about it, man, Noah was up there in age, but at that time, being up in age wasn't really a factor as it is today in this world. All right. You get to be 60, 70, 80 years old, your body's ready to shut down, But back then, brothers lived, 969 years old, or 500 years old, whatever the case may be. We'll touch on that as well. All right. So when Noah was, doing his thing, it all started because the Most High looked upon the earth and seen the wickedness in men's hearts. All right. So let me go to, this is Genesis 5. And I'm just going to get right to the points here. All right. And it says, and Lamech lived after he begot Noah 595 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. So that's 777 for Lamech, Noah's father. And it says, and Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right. So this is the start of it. This is the start of the first death, if you will. All right. Noah was 500 years old at this point. And within that time period of being 500 years old, he begat sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right. So go on to chapter 2, go on to chapter 6. Jump down to verse 9. And once again, like I said, I'm gonna jump around. I'm gonna hit the points. Matter of fact, let me jump up a little bit because it gives you a little context of what's happening. Verse 1, it says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, the daughters were born unto them. The sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they choose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. All right. So going back to what I was just speaking about, how men in the old times lived, a significant lifetime. All right. When the Lord seen the wickedness of men and the shit that was going on, he somewhat, if you will, put the curse on men that they were going to live to 120 years and no more than that. Now that's a very significant drop if you're looking at the ages of the men of old and the times, in the time they even had sons and bare sons. 500 years old, 600 years old, 700 years old, bearing children. You see? And it just goes to show you the decline of life in this world, man. Not that the Most High doesn't take, notice of your life, but as he stated, his spirit was not going to always strive with men. For we are also flesh, and that we're going to live 120 years and no more than that. That's if the Lord has mercy on you to live 120 years. Right when you get around that 59, 60 years old, right when you get into that time frame, your body starts shutting down, man. And just being involved in the sense of like being around all this wickedness. You can't eat the proper foods. And the foods that you try to eat that are proper are still contaminated. All right. So continuing on. So this is the reason why the Lord is setting up Noah right now to do, as he commanded. Let me jump down to 5. And the Most High saw the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made men on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. All right. So mind you, keep in mind, we're talking about the coming of the first death. All right. Everything happens for a reason. As the Lord is explaining to Noah how he's feeling because of what he's seeing. And he's going to tell Noah, continuing on. Verse 7. It says, and the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping things, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. All right. So the Lord told Noah, repented him that he made men upon the earth, man, because of how wicked they are. So this is a tall tale sign to let you know if the Lord destroyed the earth at that point back then because of wickedness, how much more is he going to destroy it in this time period because of wickedness? Okay? But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with the Most High. Meaning what? He was a spiritual man. Okay? He pleased the Most High by his works. All right? Verse 10. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right? The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. So this is the reason why the Lord had made mention to Noah, why he was going to have to, destroy man from off the face of the earth. Because of the wickedness. Continuing on. Verse 12. And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupt his way upon the earth. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Okay? That's exactly what the Lord's going to do, and this is why it's called the first death. Because the Lord's going to destroy them, men upon the earth, and creeping things, and fowls of the earth. All right? Be it all that may, at this point, Noah's 500 years old, give or take a few years. All right? And while he was 500 years old, this is what the Lord told him. Verse 14. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, room shalt thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. All right? So at 500 years old, Noah started to build the ark. At 500 years old, he had begot sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right? So now we're tracking that timeline, because people always say, well, Noah was out there prophesying. And when he was building the ark, you have to understand, it never rained at that point. So here this man is building this big old boat, probably in a piece of property that he owned, probably miles and miles away from the water. And this boat was so massive, you can only imagine the people's thoughts was like, well, damn, this crazy man's building this boat over here. How the hell is he gonna get it from there over to the other side? Now, if Noah was explaining to them that the windows of heaven were going to open up and water was going to come down upon the earth, people thought that to be a crazy thought, man. All right, and this is why the Lord told him to make this ark. All right. Now, I'm not going to read the whole description of how the Lord told Noah to put this thing together, but the point being made is that Noah was 500 years old when he started to build this ark. So for 500 years, at 500 years old, he was a man of upper age, if you will. Okay? Or middle age at that time. So let me jump down to 17. The Lord said, and behold, even I, do bring a flood of water upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. All right? The first death. Now, keep in mind, man, we talk about this. People don't talk about the first death because they just think of, the flood. But there was a lot that went into this, man. Especially the works that Noah had to do. All right? He was beloved of the Most High. The Most High commanded him to build this ark. Also commanded him to gather up food for the ark, along with all the animals. All right? Continually maintaining your family, your wife, and your sons, and then their wives came around. So for Noah to be out there doing all these things, man, likewise when we're out there on the highways and byways, when we get out there, people are looking at us like we're absolutely insane, and that's only because we got garments down to our feet, and the words that we're speaking. We're spiritually building the house. We're spiritually building, but Noah had built the ark, a physical ark. And the thing was massive at that. Because he was told and forewarned by Yahweh Shem Yahushai that the Lord was going to bring a flood upon the earth to destroy all flesh. Now, I'm sure Noah had made mention of that to many people at many different times. And they probably still didn't believe him. Jumping over to Genesis chapter 7. All right. And I'm going to get right to the points. Starting at about I'll start at 4. It says, for yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. Verse 5. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters was upon the earth. All right. So there's that timeline. So from the time that Noah started to build the ark at 500 years old, it tells you in verse 6, and Noah was 600 years old when the flood of the waters was upon the earth. So Noah was doing this thing for 100 years, man. 100 years. Building, gathering, measuring, being criticized, being looked upon as a nut or a conspiracy theorist, if you will. All right? And here we are on the highways and byways, and our burden, I'll say it that way, our burden wasn't as heavy as Noah's burden. Though we still have a burden to be out there preaching and pushing this word, of course. But Noah had to physically build an ark that was so damn big that it was amazing, the fact that he built it in the middle of dry land by himself. And nobody could ever possibly imagine that this thing was going to actually be used because of probably where it was located. But let me jump down to verse 17. And it says, and the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And there's the point. This big old boat, because why? The windows of heaven had opened up. Matter of fact, let me jump up for that. Going back to verse 11, it says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day where all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were open, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and for 40 nights. Okay? So there you have it. The windows of heaven had opened up, meaning what? There was rain or water coming down from the heavens, which was never done before. And then, and only then, did people now believe Noah's report, as he was speaking and telling things for 100 years plus, that the water was going to come down from the heavens, and the earth was going to be filled with water. Nobody believed the man. But that's all right, because the scriptures speak about what if some did not believe. Okay? So let me go to Matthew chapter 24 and just get right to the point here. This is Matthew 24 and 38. I'll start at. It says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. All right. And when he went into that ark on that final day, it was raining. It was pouring. It was coming down. The windows of heaven opened up. All right. The firmament opened up and let that water in. And it rained continually for 40 days and 40 nights. All right. But the point being made here is that nobody believed Noah. Nobody believed anything he had to say. And we're in the same situation. We're out there on the highways and byways talking about America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, and nobody believes us. Right? Nobody wants to listen to the report. Nobody wants to listen to the dark side or the dark sayings. And as it is written here, verse 38, it says, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay? Now when Yahweh Shai Shai comes for this second death, it's going to be by fire, thermonuclear destruction. That's how the second death is going to take place. All right? And at this point in time, and I'm sure Noah felt the same, we don't give a damn if you believe us or not, man. Because our mission and our eye is single. We have been commanded to do a job. We're going to fulfill that job until Yahweh Shai takes us up off this land. All right? Thinking about Moses. Thinking about all the shit he was going through. All the rhetoric, all the just, whatever was being said to him at the time. But he stayed the course, man. He didn't get weary. He didn't get weak. He didn't get cold feet. He wasn't embarrassed. A lot of men here in this time period fall out because of those reasons. Being embarrassed, being afraid to be seen. A lot of men fall out. But as the scripture says, Noah walked with the Most High. So he believed, man. He truly believed. Likewise, we have the hope for the elect. We walk with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Why? Because we believe in them. And we believe in that word. We believe in his will. All right? So with all that, I'm going to end it. Lord willing, brothers are edified. And once again, just a little point out the the first death and how significant it is, man. Because it tells you in Matthew, the book of Matthew, that just like the days when Noah were on the earth, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So we'll make reference of Noah. We'll make reference to that first death to let you know that that second death is going to be by fire. And the only way you're getting out of here is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to be beamed up in a chariot. All right, so Lord willing, I'll see you brothers in another show. I say shalom.